Hi, Orange Girl here with another scrapbooking process video for you. I am working with a cut file from the Cut Shop today. The cut file I'm using is Campfire Stories, and I'm just going to be working with that little circle that said Lake Life on it. I know that went by kind of fast, but you'll see it here in a second. Um, and I'm also working with Maggie Holmes' Sunny Days collection, mainly papers from the 6x8 paper pad. So what I'm starting with here, however, is white cardstock as my base. I am using 8 1/4 by 4 1/4 is the size that I use. And so I cut my white cardstock that size, and then my pattern paper is only 8 inches and not 8 1/4. So when I put it on there, I cut it at 4 by 6, so that, or sorry, 4 by 8, and then that way it is, there's a little bit of a border all the way around the outside on that left side. So then I took the pink paper and I punched out a 3-inch circle from the pink paper to put behind Lake Life so that it would stand out a little bit more. And I love working with collections because everything matches and it's wonderful. Or working with kits or the same kind of thing. I really like it a lot. I do mix and match sometimes, but this one came together pretty quickly because I just kind of stuck to this collection. So I'm trying to decide how I want to do some embellishments, and at first I was thinking I kind of wanted to stick with a circle theme, but as you can see, I'm going to kind of change that up here in a minute. So I'm looking at my 12 by 12 papers and trying to see if there's any tags or anything that are in these cut apart sheets that would work as far as the sentiment goes. So the photograph is taken by me at the back of the canoe, and it's a photo of my daughter and her little friends from school, and we are on a field trip and we're canoeing. And so we're on this lake, and so I liked the idea of lake life for that. And then I'm going to tell the story about how this is her first canoeing trip and how she pretty much caught the canoeing bug and she really enjoyed it. So that's kind of what I'm going to talk about on this page. So I'm looking for things that have some sort of sentiment about um, adventure or things like that. And I found that little green tag says, "Take me somewhere." And I really liked that when I laid it down. That's from the sticker sheet, the cardstock sticker sheet. And right now it's not sticking down. I have the backing still on it, but I really liked that look. So now I'm going through and I'm trying to find other green things because there isn't a lot of that same color of green in the papers that I've chosen so far. So I'm going through the collection and looking for things like this sticker heart and other papers that I can use. And this is where I'm still thinking I'm going to stick with some circles. Um, so I punched a circle out and I'm kind of trying to move that around. But my goal here is to find obviously things that match the sentiment, but also I'm looking for green because I was thinking I would have this kind of beautiful pink floral with the kind of mustard orange or mustard yellow color, and then have these pops of green going across the page, ideally in 3 or 4 or 5 different spots. Another thing that kind of made me get the idea of adding the green was there is on the sticker sheet a beautiful butterfly, which I put on most of my layouts about bee. I put a butterfly and it is pink and that same color of green. And so I know I want to put that somewhere on the page. So now I'm just kind of going back and forth and looking for those green things, and that's all I'm doing. So I'm going to tell you here in a second what I end up, there's that butterfly that I was talking about. What I end up deciding to do is in a few minutes here off camera, I'm going to put the paper that you see over on the right there in my typewriter, and I'm going to go ahead and type my journaling right onto the background. And it says, "Bee caught the canoeing bug. Her favorite part was seeing the turtles sunning themselves on the logs. I could have spent the entire day right here. Hashtag lake life." And so that's what as I'm creating this layout, I'm thinking about, the story and trying to tell that story and the way, this is where, okay, so only ever does this happen on camera when I'm filming. all the time it happens where I run out of tape in my tape runner. So that's what just happened, is I had to go get refills. Anyway, so off camera here, I'm going to do that. I'm thinking about, as I'm making this, when I'm looking for things, I'm looking for things to place in that matches the sentiment. So what I did here is I have in my traveler's notebook that I'm working in right now this little paper there that already has holes punched in it, and I use that each time as kind of like a template to punch my holes in. And so that's what that was. That traveler's notebook that you saw is actually from Color Cast Designs. It comes with rings, and it is wooden. And I think on the front, it's this one that I'm in. I've used several of their products. This one I think just says right now. And so it's just kind of showing some different things in it that are happening in my life right now that I want to tell on a smaller scale like this. So there I've done my typing off camera right underneath my photo. And I'm still working on this circle idea, but I end up abandoning that here in this in a few minutes. I got out my punches that are my butterfly punch, and I grabbed that and punched out a couple of butterflies. So now I'm thinking maybe I want to go more straight, like tags, because I have the tags on the other side. And laying out on my desk was this edge paper, this pink paper that was the edge of the 6x8 pad. Does that make sense? So it was the part that has the hole in it that you rip off the top. And it was just sitting out because it was the top of the floral paper, I think. And so since it was sitting out like that, I was like, oh, I could just use that at the bottom. So there, I've ripped off that butterfly enough times now that I've ripped the back off and it's on the photo. And I'm kind of sad about that. And here I try to fix it, but I even think about switching out my photos, because when I had originally printed the photos, I printed it twice because I didn't know what size I wanted. And I put them both on a 4x6. So anyway, I'm sorry, but I'm going back and forth and just trying to decide what to do here. And then I do this, and I'm like, okay, that's it. I really like adding the flower there. It has the same kind of colors that's in the other page. It ties the two pages together. The other piece of that is that it covers up the hole that is in that paper, and I can add little bitty green things to it to make it stick out, to make a little cluster down there. So I'm going to go ahead and glue that down, and then let's see, I'm gluing everything down, I think, at this point. I'm using a tiny attacher on that little heart, and then I have a little heart down on the left side, and I use a tiny attacher for that, and a little heart by the flower on the right side, and I use the tiny attacher for that. That is just for looks. I didn't really need it, but I added those there, and that's what I'm going to work on, are those kind of three clusters there. So I add just a few things to it. I'm going to cut out this butterfly, and I move it around several times, but it ends up on the right side at the bottom by that little heart. Let's see, and then I punch out that one, which is pink, and I don't even think that ends up making it on the layout. But I know I want that arrow pointing to my photo, so I went ahead with that. And oh, I actually kind of liked that little butterfly there. I could have put that there, but I don't know why I didn't do that. Anyway, the things you notice as you're watching. So now I'm just trying to find another little home for some hearts and working on some clusters. Then I found these sentence strips, phrase strips. The pink one says, say yes to adventure, and then the yellow one says, grab my hand, let's go. And when I added that, then I was done. I just knew, like, oh, I'm going to add that little heart there, and it's done. It was complete. That's just all I needed to add, and I love it when that happens. Like, there's a definite decision of when to stop just based on that last little thing that I placed. So here are all the close-ups. Thanks so much for stopping by. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I will see you soon in my next video. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.